I was about to start thumbnailing my first manga one-shot, and then I realized that the story just wasn't good. I went back, changed everything. The core story is still the same, just with more structure. I found that the beginning was just a lore dump. This is a 20-page one-shot. This isn't a 100-chapter epic adventure like One Piece. Not even a tenth of that. And my planned fight scene, it went on and on and on and on till the end of the manga. Well, to the end of the one-shot. Basically, it felt like I threw together a story without too much thought. I was about to start thumbnailing, but I was lost. The point of the scripting was to give me an idea of the direction for those thumbnails, but it was just way too vague. Now you might be thinking, like, what does this beautiful landscape have to do with my one-shot? Well, I got the idea for my one-shot out here, and honestly, hiking helps me think, so I used the opportunity to get the dogs out. But anyways, I had the idea for my one-shot when I was out hiking because I found this really nice camp spot. And I'm like, oh, this is perfect. This is where I'll have my opening scene. I kind of had that thought process, you know. So we're just going to hike to that little spot, and then I'm going to go over my one-shot with you. Geez, I'm out of shape. All right, give me a minute. So yeah, first of all, some of the major things I went back and changed for my one-shot were the intro, the fight scene, who the main characters are, more characterization for those characters, and Hyris's main, so one of the main characters, Hyris, originally did next to nothing in my original one-shot. So I expanded his role a bit more. The girl, Valesi, I did all this work for her, you know, I did a character design and kind of a character bible for her. But she's kind of a mysterious figure in the one-shot, so you don't really even know much about her. And I think that's what I want to kind of show, you know. It's like, you don't know her name, you don't know who she is, you don't know anything about her, and she's just a mysterious figure. So I need to figure out how to do that better. And then the knight, which he's just the knight. He's going to play a much larger role, so I need to look into doing character designs for him, so he doesn't just look like, I don't know, the Tin Man. So yeah, my biggest concern is that I'm actually just overthinking all of this. Like, just create the manga, dude. Whether it's good or bad. I don't know, maybe it's just perfectionism. Hey guys, come on, this way. We're going off-road. But I really did learn a lot going back and redoing everything. A lot of storytelling stuff, which, you know, who knows if it's good or bad, you know. I kind of just did it all on my own. It's not like I read a book on how to script for manga. Hey, look, we got a deer path. And I'm not going to go over the story too in depth, but just enough so we can kind of get the gist of it. You know, probably I'll leave out the end. It's not like I'm getting this published or anything, or it's going to sell or anything. I'm just going to do the whole thing for my YouTube channel. Mostly for my practice, but to also show the process of someone who has absolutely no effing clue. So yeah, give me a second. I gotta find a path. And then we'll go over my story. One sec. Okay, so I'm here at my supposed little campsite that I found last year. It's kind of seen better days. There's a lot of downed trees. We had a big windstorm last month, and like literally like 100-mile-an-hour wind gusts knocked out a lot of trees in the forest. Like, my ideal spot would have been, like, right where this sucker fell. Which, I guess, good thing I'm not here when it fell. But anyways, we're not here to talk about nature. This was the original spot where I'm like, this is where I want my first scene to be. You know, and maybe I'm acting too over the top for this because, you know, it's like, dude, you haven't even drawn a manga yet. Or even practiced a one-shot, like, you know, out scouting locations. But anyways, so, yeah, let's go over my story a bit and some of the changes I made. Originally, I made my story like this, where it was kind of just like small paragraphs for each page. Like, oh, establish a setting, large forest at night, 2 figures sitting around a campfire in the dark, a story being told. It's like, how vague is that? You know, so I'm going to go over pages, I think, 1, 4, 6. But anyways, so let's look at my page 1. This is kind of how I did it. I was like, I wanted to establish the purpose of the page, what happens in the page, the story beats, and my visual intent, which is kind of how I want things to look. Not like exactly like planning out the panels right now. I want to do that during the thumbnail page or thumbnail process. But yeah, so like page 1, establish the setting, draw the reader into the world. So what I kind of had an idea for was doing either a above shot of a forest at night or kind of like a side view landscape shot where you can kind of see a glow coming from inside the forest where they're camping. So yeah, a vast forest at night. Focus settles on 2 figures sitting across from each other at a campfire. The larger figure is animatedly narrating a story to the other. A suit of armor and weapons rest beside the log that he sits on. A horse is tied to a nearby tree, calmly grazing. As the knight tells a story, his young squire listens intently, leaning forward, hanging on his every word. Both figures are illuminated only by the warm campfire light in the dead of night. So, a lot of shadows. One of the books that kind of like I thought about when I decided on this scene was Framed Ink with like use like those heavy shadows, you know. Definitely recommend that book. I gotta go reread it because I read it and then just did nothing with it. So yeah, that was page 1. Let's skip to page 4, which is where, you know, they say like the 4-act structure with mangas like Ki, Sho, Ten, Ketsu. I forget what they all stand for, but basically beginning, middle, super middle, and then end. So the middle, where it's like you gotta have like an inciting incident. That's what kind of happens on page 4 of my manga. So, page 4, showcase the close connection between the knight. That's what kind of page 1 through 4 builds up, is that they have this very close, not intimate connection, but like very close, like family almost. Yeah, they're like family. It's not, let's not make it weird. So the knight and the squire have this very close kind of family connection. And then this is where I introduce the inciting incident. Page 1 through 4 is kind of exposition. They're talking about the world and the power structure a little bit. Like, I don't want to go too in depth because this is only a 20-page one-shot, and it's like, dude, we don't care. But yeah, so he's explaining this, basically the concepts of like heaven and hell and good and evil to his squire in a way that's engaging for him. But then suddenly they hear a scream. And that draws their attention, and then we go to page 5, which is, the purpose of that page 5 is to show the urgency of the situation, the knight's disregard for his own safety. So basically, the knight just is like, he hears the scream and he just pops into action. You know, he's a knight. So he's like, yo, bro, let's go. And then both the knight and the squire rush to the feet, squire looking alert but confused, as the knight rushes to his horse, his sword in hand. The knight is calm as he addresses his squire, giving him orders, asking him to follow behind. The squire asks if his master should don his armor, but the knight says there's no time and mounts the horse. quickly spurring it in the direction of the scream. I think what I'm going to have him do, though, is actually wear the armor, because otherwise it's kind of boring. And yeah, it's like, it's a knight. I want him wearing armor. So maybe I have him quickly strap up, you know, like, yo, let's go. Gotta put the body armor on. And so that was my inciting incident. They hear someone scream, and they rush into action. Then I think my next would be big moment would be like the climax. Well, first I wanted to add more characterization to the squire, Hyrus. So on page 11, we see kind of his perspective of everything. Purpose of page 11, reintroduce the Hyrus, the squire, who is running behind trying to catch up to the knight. Like, he doesn't have a horse, he's on foot. So yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention, the knight, I believe it's page 6. The knight arrives on the scene where this girl's scream came from, and she's surrounded by these like demonic figures, these big cloaked figures in this big empty glade. Not quite like this, more like, I don't know, more fantastical. I don't know. I'm probably getting way over my head, but I have this huge idea for a cool scene. Doubt I'll be able to draw it, but we'll be practicing it for weeks. But yeah, so the knight kind of comes into this glade where there's this big, giant, demonic figure surrounded by a bunch of little, smaller figures, and they're all chasing this girl. And so he's just like, yo, dudes, lay off, and they ignore him, so he goes to hacking away at them, because, you know, they're trying to get at this girl. It's like, bro, leave her alone. And then page 11, like I said, this is when we reintroduce Hyrus. He's running behind. He's like, probably hauling some of the knight's equipment just in case he needs it, like a good little boy, good little squire. And then one of those demonic figures kind of like jumps out and ambushes the squire. And what I wanted to show is the difference between the squire and the knight. So like the squire is just like hacking these bros down, like the lesser demonic figures. And then one of those lesser demonic figures kind of ambushes Hyrus in the woods, and Hyrus is just like fighting for his life. So, and then let's see, where is the next page? Hey, come on. I think it's probably 15. It's 15 or 16, which is my climax, which is when the knight challenges the leader of these demonic forces that are attacking this girl. That's when we really see the difference in power between this like otherworldly figure and an actual just like human. So that's when he kind of the knight starts getting his butt kicked. So, but one of the things I wanted to show kind of in the build-up fights is the girl. This mysterious girl has these like weird holy powers, and I would need to figure out a way to show that. So that's kind of what I wrote. I wrote how, I think it was like page 9 or 10, like the big demonic figure is trying to reach for her, and she just like, is like, oh no, leave me alone. And just touches, like smacks him away. And there's this like holy energy that kind of comes out of her hand. And the knight is like, bro, what is that? This is like stuff I've only heard in stories and stuff, like demons, angels, heaven, hell, holy, stuff like that, you know. So it's kind of like, anyway, so that's my story. I had to go back and redo everything. And part of me feels like I'm really overthinking everything. Like, dude, you're procrastinating. Just draw the manga. Like, yeah, no, dude, I am a serial procrastinator. So, and yeah, this video was kind of a rant, but I don't know. I'll put some decent music on in the background just so it doesn't you're not listening to this crazy guy in the woods. But yeah, so, oh, by the way, this is Maisie. She's my parents' dog. She's completely psycho. We have a love-hate relationship. She eats poop. She's weird. And this is my baby boy, Toshi. He's part Corgi, part Shiba Inu. And he walks funny because I got him from a rescue where his previous owners abused him and shackled his front feet together since he was a puppy. So he hops. It's cute, but you know, everyone's stopping me in the street. I'm like, oh my god, your dog, he walks so cute. And it's like, and then I tell them the story and they start crying. But yeah, this wasn't a video about my dogs, but we're out here in the woods and they're having a good time. I'm tired. I just walked like 20 minutes up a hill, so that's this video. Yeah, sorry for ranting. I wanted to document the process. You know, I didn't want to just disappear for 2 months and then finally come out with my thumbnail. I wanted to show that, hey, I had second thoughts on my story. Hey, Toshi. Hey. I had second thoughts on my story. So I went back and redid it all 20 pages, and I'll be honest, it was really hard because I had the general idea for everything, but not the details, so coming up with those details was tough. Anyways, we're going to head back down. The sun's starting to go low, so I'm going to try and get those thumbnails done ASAP because I also feel like I'm just procrastinating, so maybe we need a deadline. Anyways, peace out. Appreciate you listening to my rant, or not. Thanks.